Without further ado, I give you Dan Kim. He is the account manager with Buyside, and he's going to walk you through everything you need to know as an admin with regards to Buyside.
All right, thank you, Ralston. Yeah, just like Ralston said, my name is Dan Kim. I'm an account manager here at Buyside. This is going to be a Buyside refresher training. One thing I did forget to preface on my last call, if you were here on the last call, I do have an 8-week-old at home here. So if you do hear some crying, I do apologize in advance. She may be making some noise in the background here. But before we get started, just a couple of resources that I would love to pass along to you. Feel free to pass this along to your agents as well in the welcome packets or even existing training packets. The first one's going to be our Buyside Insiders group. It's going to be our Facebook group that consists of current members. They can ask questions, get answers. They can even find ways that other people have found success by using Buyside. The second one is going to be our help desk. It's going to be support.getbuyside.com. It acts very similarly to a Google search engine where they can actually type in a question related to Buyside and it actually pulls up articles, PDFs, little training webinars, quick tips, things like that related to the problem. And then if they have further questions or concerns about how the tool works, they can email our support class, our world-class support team at support@getbuyside.com. And they'll be able to either chat with a live agent, they can email back and forth, help troubleshoot, things like that as well. So for today, we're going to be going over a few different things, mainly the Buyside tool in general, and how agents can utilize the Buyside tool, not only to capture both sides of the transaction, but also to be able to answer the question when they're asked inevitably of how is the market? A lot of people think, is it either good or is it bad? But there are a lot of different layers to it. We saw how crazy the market can be in the last year. We have real estate economists that have been stating that this year isn't going to be very different from last year. Buyer demand is going to be very strong. It's going to be a seller's market. The only difference really being is that the seller's market, homes might be staying on the market for just a little bit longer. So we're going from pedal to the metal down to back to cruise control. But again, very similar ties to what the last year saw. So what we're going to be going over today is going to be how to enter buyer information and why they should be doing that. It all kind of ties back to the tool itself, and it goes kind of full circle with the tool and how it can be utilized, especially with a higher buyer demand like we're seeing now. The home valuation site, so what the consumer currently sees and how the agent can market it effectively using the tools that we give them right on their dashboard. The buyer market analysis, or what we like to call the BMA, how the agent can speak effectively and really use their expertise and their consultative experience to win a listing presentation. And then after they win the listing presentation, how to enter a coming soon listing to really start generating that interest early, and to really hit the ground running once the buyer, or I'm sorry, the home seller signs that listing contract. So I'm going to go over to the buyer dashboard. I'm sorry, the agent dashboard here. And so this is the first thing that the agent's going to see when they log in. They're going to see my buyers and their listings as well. And to add in buyers, what they're going to do is they're going to go up to this top toolbar and click on My Buyers. Oops, give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. I thought I had I apologize. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. But the reason why we want to focus on buyers so much right now is because the buyer demand is so high. It's going to be one of those things where entering buyers into the program, even though agents may ask why they need to do this, is because that this allows the agent to market their buyers 24/7. And you'll see here in just a moment. I'll go back to sharing my screen. To be able to market their buyers' needs to other agents 24/7. So think of this really kind of as a weekly sales meeting on steroids. So when they first hit this dashboard, you'll see the buyers here as well as the listings, but you'll realize that if you have 35 to 40 different buyers, this would just dominate this page. So they can go to either one of two places. They can go to see all my buyers or add a buyer here, or what they can do to see their full list of buyers is go to their My Buyers tab, which will show a list of all their buyers here. They'll be able to see all their information, how many stars they have, and we'll go over that in just a minute here when we're entering a buyer in. But this is what this is the landing page of where all the buyers live. So in order to add a buyer, you'll go over here on the right-hand side to click Add Buyer, and this will take you to a page of all the information that is needed to enter in for their buyer information. Now it starts off with the location. So school districts, right now I have a sample in mind. I'm going to go ahead and put Santa Capistrano Unified School District in California, and that's going to be in 92656. So you'll realize that it's all auto-populating here, so you don't have to type a whole lot, and you can fill in all this information as needed. As you go down this list, you'll notice that there are a couple of fields that are either regular text or in bold with an asterisk. The ones with that bolded, the text that is bolded and that have an asterisk next to them are mandatory fields. And so it will not allow you to create a buyer profile without having these, at least the minimum bolded fields in and filled out. So I'm looking for a, let's say, 4-bed, 3-bath property. And as you can see, it gives you a lot of different options to choose from. So I'll go 3-bed or 3-bath, minimum square footage, age of home, desired lot size. There's a couple of different things. If you want to get that into the details, you're more than welcome to. I don't really care as much. The next mandatory field is going to be the property type. I'm okay with a single family detached townhouse or a condo here as well, but you'll see that there are a lot of different other options going all the way to just even land as well. So if someone's looking to just develop their own property on their land, you can go ahead and click on that as well. The property condition, get a couple of different types of properties. Everyone wants a turnkey, but there is also the fixer-upper and TLC. Maybe someone's an investor looking to renovate a home and put back on the market, maybe a small flip. And then there's also the house style. Again, I'm not super picky on that, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that blank. The next is going to be the public comments section of what they're looking for. So you'll actually see it's pre-populated in here that when you do click into it, it'll actually delete itself. But this is really to give listing agents more insight to what your buyers are looking for and what they want or don't want. And so you can put a little bit more detail in here. For right now, I'm just going to put in a desperate buyer. The next section here, you can show must, likes, and dislikes. So this is actually going to go way further into detail than what a lot of people are just really used to. I always like to say that actually, like my first real estate agent that I worked with, they must have had a very similar list in the background, if not using Buyside itself. But they were asking me these on the phone on the appointment where we were just kind of getting to know each other. And it was kind of nice because it really kind of showed that they really cared of what I was looking into, and it was very, very detailed. And all the work is done for them essentially right up front at the time of the meeting. If you don't want to go into this far of a detail, you can just go ahead and hide it. They're not mandatory fields. But the next mandatory fields are built into the financial section. So the qualification status, are they pre-qualified? Are they cash? Have they not found financing just yet? I'm going to go ahead and put in as a cash buyer. The minimum and maximum price, this will come into play a little bit later when matching properties as well. This is a mandatory field, so I'm going to go ahead and put in, let's go 999,000 all the way up to, let's say, 1.5 million there. Available down payment, approximate monthly payment, those are optional as well. Purchase by date is going to be the next mandatory field. When do they want to purchase this property by? I know that a lot of buyers are looking to get in as soon as possible. And so I'm going to go ahead and put in, let's say, the beginning of next month. The next mandatory section is going to be a type of buyer. So is it a first-time home buyer? Is it an current owner that they must sell first? There might be a contingency involved there. Owner that they don't need to sell first, currently renting, investor, or a relocation. I'm going to put in, and you can put in multiple fields here. So it's a first-time home buyer, but I'm also an investor, and I do need to relocate too. So you can put in all those fields there. The method of payment, how their financing is going to work here. I have a conventional finance loan. Well, actually, it's going to be cash. So you can leave that blank as well. So the buyer details is going to be another important section. Please keep in mind, and you can also let the agents know that this is all confidential to outside parties. So the only people that are going to be able to see these buyer details is the agent. You can alert them. You can set these alerts to when a new coming soon listing is available that matches this buyer's criteria. Do not alert me. You can set them not to get alerted at all. Alert just the agent, or alert my client directly and CC me. So you can have these alerts set up, and then you can go ahead and put in the buyer's name. So let's go Jane Test Broker. Primary email is going to be, I'll just put my email in here, buyside.com, and then the phone number. And then you can choose to show contact details, but I'm going to go ahead and leave that hidden because I don't want anyone directly going out to my buyer immediately. I want them to go through me, if anything. So all you have to do is after you fill out all the necessary information, is click Add Buyer. Now that's going to populate a profile for them, and you'll be able to see that here. And all the information that we pre-populated is going to be here. Again, buyer strength is going to be the 4-star rating. So that does have a meaning to it. There's going to be a legend here on the right-hand side. And those 4 stars correlate to these 4 different categories. So they have a purchase by date, a ready to buy date, a pre-qualification status, so some sort of financing is available, and that they're represented by an agent. There will be times, and this is very brokerage specific and is tailored to each brokerage, but there will be times where we do import buyer data. So either from saved searches, saved properties from the CRM. And if we have enough to build a profile, it'll import them in. However, what they'll see is they'll see buyers that don't have all 4 stars. This might have just 2 stars or just 1 star, that they're just represented by an agent, but they don't have enough information to actually fill out or to populate all this data by themselves. But you'll realize that when they do get these imported buyers, that they'll recognize who these buyers are. If they ever need to buy or to edit their profile, all they'll have to do is go to edit profile here in their buyer match or in the buyer section, and then go ahead and fill out the necessary forms to turn them into 4-star buyers. And the reason why they want to turn them into 4-star buyers is if we go back to our dashboard here, you'll see that they have the buyers here. If they have 1 to 2-star or anything less than 4-star buyers, they will still be available under the My Buyers section. However, they will be kicking up the 4-star buyers up to the top. And that goes the same with any coming soon listings that we'll actually end this seminar with today. But you want those 4-star buyers so that they have the highest amount of visibility. And you don't want the 2-star buyers that may not be as serious as these 4-star buyers to get buried underneath. But again, just to reiterate, you will still be able to see these buyers, and they still will be in your My Buyers section if you go into the full list here as well. So why is this buyer information so important? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this dashboard here. When an agent logs in to their dashboard, they have what they call the marketing or the home valuation site. Now I'm going to go and demonstrate what the consumer sees on the home valuation site. So what the consumer sees, this is going to be based off of the agent's home valuation site. As you can see, it is branded to the agent. So it's going to have the agent's picture, the agent's name, and their phone number. This is going to be what the agent is marketing out with their unique URL up here. What the consumer gets to do, and all they have to do really, when they want to see a market report, is start typing in an address. So when they start typing in an address, you'll start to see that it'll actually auto-populate an address for you, and they don't even have to finish. They can actually just click on this, and it'll actually populate the market report for that address here. And they'll actually first see a couple of different things. They'll see the address that they populated in, the bedroom and bathroom count and the square footage. This is all pulled from public data. The picture as well as the name and number of the agent front and center, and then the ability to sign up for monthly reports. If they want to maybe keep a pulse on the market, they're really interested. They're not really ready to buy or sell just yet, but they do want to keep in touch with the market and how it's going. And let's say, for instance, we always like to say COVID was the time of a lot of renovations. A lot of people did a lot of stuff to their home to try and increase their equity and the home's value. They do have the ability to go ahead and edit the property details, but you'll see on a couple different parts of this page, if anyone is trying to edit any part of the details of their home, we just ask that they verify that they're the owner. And that's going to be through Facebook, Google, or their LinkedIn. So below that is going to be the estimated home value. So it's going to show, typically it shows 3 AVMs at the moment. So the third AVM is typically Zillow. Zillow is down at the moment, so we're not able to pull any data at the moment. But there are going to be there are typically 3 different AVMs. And the reason why we do that is because we want to start getting the homeowner to start asking some questions. Most people say, if you ask anyone, where would you go to find your home's worth? The number one answer is always Zillow, and they take that as gospel. What they don't understand and they don't realize is that there are very, very many different types of AVMs out there, and the ranges from what their home is worth varies by quite a bit. So even just for these two, you can see that this home ranges from $377,000 all the way up to $472,000. So up to $100,000 variance in the home's value. This is going to trigger some questions for the homeowner. And what we want them to do is we want them to start to ask some questions to the broker, or I'm sorry, the agent. We give them the ability to click on Contact Joe and just submit their information, and off that goes out into the lead capture, which we'll visit here in just a minute. Down below that is going to be what is the condition of the property. Everyone thinks that their property is in excellent condition, but again, we put it on needs work on purpose because, again, just like before, if you're changing anything about the property, we want you to verify that you are the owner. Down below that, we have a heat map. So this is going to be the heat map, very similar to a weather map. The darker the color of the area, the hotter the area is in terms of the market. The lighter the color is, as less active the market is here. And this is really going to get the homeowner thinking like, hey, what's going on? How should I be pricing? What's going on with the rest of the outlying areas? And this actually also breaks it down by price range and by bedroom in these two graphs here. Then we have the buyer activity in the last 90 days. So buyer activity is defined as anything the buyer does as far as registered buyers, open houses, saved searches, online inquiries. And it starts off at the statewide level and then goes all the way down and drills all the way down to online activities within a 5-mile radius and within the home's price range, looking for the 5-bedroom, which is the exact criteria. So it shows the potential, or it shows the homeowner, wow, there are 65,601 buyer activities just within a 5-mile radius that matches my home's description. And then down below that, you actually have a featured buyers section. So they can actually see, wow, there are 11 buyers here. And again, we keep everything confidential. We have 11 buyers here that qualify for the home if I were to put it on the market in this price range. That's great. And again, if they want to start talking about any of these buyers or what the demand is, they can again contact the agent. It'll actually scroll you all the way down to the page just like it did here to leave all of your information, and then you can go ahead and click Contact Joe and it'll send it off to the agent there. And the last two portions of the home valuation site are the comps, so supply side trends. So maybe the homeowner hasn't really been keeping up with the real estate market. They've been getting a lot of information, but they're just really from friends and colleagues who don't really know a whole lot about it either. It's just a lot of hearsay. But this shows the last 4 quarters worth of the market and the supply side trends of things with the median sold price, as well as the number of homes sold in the last 90 days in that zip code. And then finally, we have the recent nearby sales. This shows them the last 10 properties to sell within a 1.5-mile radius in the last 18 months. And the beauty of this is that they'll be able to see, because it's in such a tight radius, that, hey, I know that owner at that property. I didn't know that he sold for $398,000 on June 15th, or that this owner practically across the street sold for a little bit more, almost $50,000 more back in August. And so this is going to start to trigger some questions. And again, we give them a couple of different opportunities to be able to contact the agent here. And then to finally, again, to receive monthly updates on the property if they're wanting to keep in touch with the market. So that's what the client sees or the homeowner sees. So how, as an agent, do you market it? So when you go to your home valuation site and you go to your marketing suite, you'll be brought to a page that looks like this. And at Buyside, we give them 3 different tools right on this dashboard here to be able to market the valuations page just very, very simply, actually. So the first one's going to be in the form of an email signature. So if you click on that, it gives you a couple of different options here. So the first and easiest way is to just copy and paste this into the email signature that's already hyperlinked to the home valuation site. We always like to say that every email that you send is a potential lead, whether you are sending emails to your friends, your colleagues, your neighborhood watch group, your sports league group, any type of email that you send, you can just literally copy and paste this verbiage here, excuse me, and off you go. If you don't like this verbiage, though, what you can do is you can press copy link, and once you click it, it'll actually say copied. And then it actually gives you a step-by-step email on how to hyperlink into whatever verbiage you want into your email signature, so that all you have to do is paste that into your email signature, hit update on your email signature, and then off you go. Now, the second piece of marketing that we give you is going to be through social media. We live in a digital age. Social media has taken over of just about every news outlet, really. And what we can do is we give the ability for the agent to share this on social media very easily. So if you hover over this plus sign, you'll realize that we have some of the largest social media sites available: LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. Those are the big 3. We also have Pinterest and the Gmail here as well. And if you have some obscure, kind of smaller social media because you have a bigger influence, a sphere of influence with a lot of different types of social media, we do have 181 different types of social media in addition to the ones that I just showed you. Once you click on that, it'll give you a full list. I'll be the first to say that I'm not very familiar with any of these social media sites, but all you have to do once you find the social media site that you are looking for is just to go ahead and click on that button. So for here, I'm going to click on LinkedIn. So the LinkedIn page it'll go straight to my profile. And the first thing it does is it gives me the option to either share in a post or share in a private message. So I'm going to go ahead and share in a post here. And then again, it'll pre-populate a link, an image that's already linked out to my branded home valuation site. And all I have to do is put in a nifty little catchphrase or some sort of call to action. So what do you think your home is worth? And then I can go ahead and create this post to either anyone. And if you click down here, maybe I have a couple of different groups. So again, the neighborhood group, I have one specific for my dad group, new parents group, my sports beer league group, or you can just do it to anyone here. It is worth noting, though, however, there have been studies that have shown that when you post something onto social media, only about 5% of your audience actually does see it every time you post. So it is worth noting to the agents to continue to post this on a regular cadence so that the majority of people see it. You're catching a wider audience time and time again, rather than just 5% of your sphere there. So the third way that we give agents the ability to market your home valuations page is going to be a widget. So this is going to be for any type of external website. If they have a business website outside of the brokerage website and they have their own little personalized website there, they can actually use this HTML code. I'll be the first to also say that I'm not savvy with HTML, so this would be something that I would give to my marketing team or someone that is a little more savvy in that. However, this is something that they can just embed into their website, personal website, and it'll actually show this widget on their personal website, so where the consumer can just enter in their address, just like we did before. And if they click on this search icon, it'll actually take them to a home valuation page that we saw before. So now that we've gone over the buyer information as well as the home valuation site, say for instance we get a lead and we follow up with them and they want to meet with us. They don't want to make any commitments just yet, but they want us to have to present a listing presentation. The next step here is they're going to utilize the BMA. So again, that's going to be the buyer market analysis. So I've seen agents pull up into the driveway of the home 5 minutes prior to the meeting and pull this up and generate this report on their iPad as it downloads right to their computer here. And they have a nice little presentation. I've also had agents print this out and put it in a nice little binder a day or so before, so they have a nice presentation that way. It's really up to the agent on how they want to present this. But the agent's experience here is going to be very similar to the home valuation experience for the consumer. All they have to do is go ahead and click on BMA up on the top toolbar and start typing in an address that they're building a market report for. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And just like before, it does pre-populate. Once they click it, it'll take you to the next step to build the page. And so it's going to be verify and edit the property details. If anything has changed. So again, if they've changed and they've wanted to, they've added a bedroom, or if they've added a bathroom or a half bath, they can make all those edits here. All they have to do is click next. The property estimates. So agents have the ability to either show the property estimates that were shown on the home valuation site or not. It's really totally up to them, and they can actually also include their own. Maybe these were the estimates that were shown. However, they're in a less active area, and after looking at the home, it's a little bit on the rougher side. They haven't really maintained the property very well. They can actually include their own personal estimate here. Let's say, for instance, this one's going to be 350 on the low side, and then let's say 380 on the high side. And then once they click next, they'll see the number of featured buyers, but they can also say slide the scale out to where they think that they might be able to get, or if they're just, if the agent wants to talk them into remodeling or doing some sort of renovation to up the value, they can show how many other buyers are going to be matched as well. Again, where the buyer feature really comes into play. So all they have to do after that is hit generate PDF. What this is going to do is it's going to show you a page just very similar to like this. It can take up to about 1 minute, 2 minutes, where it'll populate all this data and make this a very, very nice presentation. In the interest of time, I also do have a PDF already done here. So once this downloads, it'll populate a page very similar to this. So it's going to be a condensed 6-page report to where the agent can show the homeowner and the potential lister of, hey, this is why you want to work with me as an agent. So the first page is going to be a cover page of the address that's shown, or the address that was run, with the agent's picture and all the contact information right on the front page, so they knew exactly who to contact. The second page is a compiled list of why they should list with Town Realty. This is going to be a great way for the agent to really sell themselves and how powerful Town Realty can really be, and why they should go with them instead of the other 3 agents that they're talking to sell their home. This next page is going to be the valuations that the agent has either decided to or not decided to enter in. I would always like to advocate that the agent does enter these in, because it gives them a little bit of a talking point. Mr. and Mrs. Home Seller, these are automated values. These are computer generated models that have never walked your home. I'm inside your home right now, and I can tell you that it's worth either more or less. They can really start to hone in on that conversation. Again, some more talking points as well. Mr. and Mrs. Home Seller, you're in a very, very hot area. I think we can really afford to list this on a little bit of a higher side. And I think we can actually even get a bidding war started, even if we price it on the higher side, or vice versa. If you look on this heat map, you're located in a lighter colored area. That means it's not as active as these hotter areas, which means that we need to strategically place the pricing to where your home's not going to be sitting on the market for 8 months. And then down below, it's going to be another snapshot of the online activities of what's being found on the buyer side of things, broken down by the bedroom and by price range as well. Very similar to, or is identical to the one that the consumer should have seen on the home valuation report. And then this is going to be the knockout punch. Again, coming back to why buyer information is very important. The agent can now speak to this saying, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if you sign with me right now, I don't have to do any external marketing. I can go into my program and and message all of the agents that represent all of these 9 buyers. Some of them are even my buyers that fit the criteria of your home, and I can get showings started as quickly as tomorrow if I wanted to. This really shows that you're actively already starting to work and kind of on the back end of, I didn't really have to do a whole lot of work. I just needed to put in some information, but it shows that the buyer falls into the category of the home that they searched for as well. So that is the buyer market analysis. So I'm going to go back to my, my dashboard here. And say, for instance, that the Mr. and Mrs. home seller, homeowner really wants to list with me. Perfect. This is great. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting all this stuff done. I'm going to start reaching out to the buyers. But in the meantime, I know that we're not listing this tomorrow. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this listing into my program so we can start generating some interest. So that's what we like to consider coming soon listing. I know that there have been a lot of concerns in the past regarding coming soon listings and the legality of it. I believe the rule is that if you're going to be starting to market coming soon listings, it has to be on the MLS within 24 hours. However, this is actually just to market the listing within your own brokerage. So this is more of an internal listing and an internal, almost like an internal meeting, excuse me, to generate the interest before it hits the MLS. And to do that, all you have to do is click on Coming Soon Listing. Again, going from the toolbar here, if you go to Add and Add Listing, it'll bring you to the page that I was just on. Just like before, there are some highlighted, some bolded areas which are mandatory fields, and then some that are just plain text that are not mandatory. But again, just like before, the more information that you put on this, the better the visibility that this will have, and the easier it is for people to start filtering through these properties as well. And so the first thing that you're going to see is going to be the street address visibility. So this is going to be, do you want to show and disclose where this is exactly? You can either have it viewable by all users, but maybe the property owner doesn't want people to come by their property just yet. You can actually put in confidential, and this will mean that only the agent can see what the true property address is. Next is going to be the real address. So again, this is going to be just viewable by the agent themselves. I'm going to do, let's go ahead and do 37 Golf Drive. And just like before, it will pre-populate some of these areas of interest here. So the county and the school district. The number of bedrooms is going to be 4. So this is all done by drop-down menu. Bathrooms is going to be 3. Property type, this is a single family detached, but again, just kind of how the buyers were slated as well. They're all going to be here as well. So that's how the buyer match works here in just a minute. But this is going to be a single family detached. Age of home, I'm not too sure about it. I can go ahead and do some research, approximate lot size, and then the listing description. So again, you want to be as detailed as possible here. This isn't a mandatory field, but the more information the agents can put into this, the better, just so that people, when they're filtering through, they can just start to glance at the listing. They don't have to actually go into this listing itself to see all the details here, but the more descriptive words there are, the easier it is for everybody here. Then the last couple of different things, asking price is very, very important, as we all know. Let's put that at 1.1. Seller broker commission, they can choose to put this in or they can leave this out. I'm going to go ahead and put 3%. And then a live in the MLS date. So this actually varies by brokerage. I've seen some brokerages that can do this up to 90 days in advance. This one's going to be, I can only do 2. This is just a demo brokerage account that I'm on here. So I'm going to go ahead and put, I'll put it on this weekend here. Showings will start on. So this is going to be another mandatory field where the showings will start on a specific date. So maybe the showings will start on the 13th. We're just waiting for some pictures right now. The photographer hasn't shown up. This is why we're doing this coming soon listing, is because we don't have a full listing detail just yet, but we want to see how much interest we can get just within our own brokerage of just this specific property. So I'm going to put showings will start on the 13th. And then offers reviewed on, if they have any type of specific type of a date that they want to offer or review the offers on, they can go ahead and put that here as well. Now, if they do have the image, they can go ahead, or up to 20 images, they can go ahead and start uploading this, so they can go ahead and see that when this all populates. But if, again, in this case, we're waiting for the photographer, so we're going to go ahead and just add this listing. So when you add this listing here, it's going to take a couple moments for it to generate all this data. And what it's going to do is it's going to populate this active list, or I'm sorry, the coming soon listing into your dashboard. So as you can see, 37 Gulf Drive, Aliso Viejo, California is the coming soon listing that I just did. These are the ones that I've done in the past for these other trainings that I've done. And the way that you can differentiate between a coming soon listing and an active listing is that the coming soon listing has a bold red coming soon listing label, whereas an active listing will not have this, and it'll actually have a listing ID, and it'll link out to the actual to the MLS listing there for you too. And what you'll see that's really neat though is that there's already 3 buyers that fit this criteria. So if I actually wanted to see those buyers, I can go ahead and click on that coming soon listing, and I can see the 3 buyers that match this criteria here. Again, the more buyers that you input, the longer this list will be. And again, just like I had mentioned before, all the buyer IDs are confidential. So they're all hidden behind a generated buyer ID. And all you have to do is, unless it's your buyer, they will not be able to see this buyer ID here. If you want to contact the buyer agents, you can actually go over here on the right-hand side and contact them directly, as you will not be able to contact the buyer directly. Unless it's your own buyer, you can go straight to them. But this is already a pre-populated field. I may have the perfect listing for your buyer. This is something if they click in here, they can just write their own verbiage here. Hey, my buyer is interested in your, my listing matches your buyer's criteria. Let's meet up. And then you can go ahead and send that email as well. And you can send that to all the different buyers agents here as well. All right, so that has concluded everything as far as Buyside is concerned.